Hello my fellow YouTubers, this is Magnamoro. I'm back with another video. This is the second one regarding the proof in Phun of Overunity. And I think you'll find this video just as interesting as the last. I have made a couple of improvements on the bouncer. One, I've made a better catch system, and number two, I've moved the base in some closer to the triangle frame, and also so that there's no issue about the different size motors that were in the first one. Although in the first video this motor was smaller, what I've done is I've simply cloned the gear that I had fighting against the bouncer, and I've pasted it on here and then mounted the pendulum to that so that we get the exact same strength motor. So this simulation is simply paused. I'll just start it. So this basically picks up where we left off, showing that this indeed is Overunity because it's spinning this gear backwards, even though these are on the same strength. But what I think you'll find interesting is this. Look at this. I have a second motor, and of course I have one up here freely spinning. It's not attached to anything, but just showing you. And then on my flywheel, look at what I've got as well. Another motor fighting to spin this way against the flywheel, but it's still rotating it backwards. So indeed the bouncer is producing an enormous amount of energy. So what I want to briefly go over, just briefly, is how it is we're able to obtain Overunity. And then I'd like to call out to anyone that would be interested in replicating this. Please do so. Basically what we have is the bouncer. It's basically a triangle frame with a motor at the top spinning a pendulum. And what happens here, and let me pause this, what happens is when the pendulum is swinging above the bouncer, centrifugal force is acting on the pendulum to pull it out that way. And because the frame is very light, it will lift the frame up. So what we have to do in addition to that is add a limiter. That's what this square represents right here, a limiter. It prevents the bouncer from just flying off and going too high up. We have another limiter here which can simply represent maybe the base or the table that the device is sitting on, but it prevents it from going down, obviously, too far. I've improved my gear catcher so that it catches the gears without slipping very much. And you'll notice that I have a compression spring as well. Now the spring is compressed when the bouncer lifts up. So what happens is, when it's in the upper position, we have the spring already compressed, so it's trying to push the bouncer back down. So then when the pendulum comes down and swings around and it's in the lower position, centrifugal force is pulling it down. And so we have gravity pulling down, added centrifugal force or centripetal forces on the device pulling it down, and the added compression of the spring pushing down. So if we lock onto the gear at a high point, it's going to pull the gear down with a great amount of energy. All of those added energies are put into our gear system. And that's how we can achieve the Overunity. So there's a brief explanation for you. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd like to call out to anyone again interested in replicating this. Please do so. I think it's very powerful when you compare it to the standard Milkovich device, which is out there that just simply has a swinging pendulum. This device can truly produce enormous amounts of energy. Have fun.